Welcome back. Fuel TV's live coverage of Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship Racing, the Rockstar Energy Drink, Freestone National in Wortham, Texas. 250 class about to do battle. We had the 450s just finish up their first race. We'll give you the big picture storylines in this 250 division. Blake Baggett leading a sweep for his monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki team at round 1 week ago in California, and they're hoping to do the same here in Texas. Some other riders had some trouble, some crashes. Ryan Sipes, a big crash in the first turn of the first race last week. Marvin Musquin in the first turn of the second race last week. Justin Barcia was leading the second moto last week until he went over the bars and went down. And D. Wilson was battling with Baggett, but he crashed. So mistakes all over the place in the 250 division, and Blake Baggett just keeps on charging. Fastest in time practice today. The 57 is on a roll. Give you the track facts of exactly what these guys have in store for them in Texas. The track facts will give you the idea of the length of it, but what they won't be able to show you is just how rough it is and how hot and humid it is. Jeff, talk about racing here at Texas, what it's going to take to come out on top.
Well, as you can see, and what you saw earlier in the 450 moto is the wind is blowing. The riders that were on the track there, the first one to mention that the wind was actually good right now, because even though it blows you around on the bike a little bit, it seems to cool you off because it's hot right now, and the track is rough, and this is the real first really hot race of the summer, and so this is where the riders, test their bodies and test their fitness. At
the end of that 450 race we just completed, Chad Reed said you have to get a good start. This track is hard to pass on. So how do you get a good start? Well, we have one of the injured riders for the GEICO Honda team who usually nails some good hole shots, Wil Hahn here, and earlier he'd head down to the starting line to show us exactly what he does to prepare to try to get one of those good starts. Will?
Hey, it's Wil Hahn. We're here at Freestone Raceway. We're on the starting gate, and I want to go over a few tips to help you get to that first turn first. If I was here racing this weekend and I had a good gate pick, I would choose this gate mainly because of the angle it leads into the first turn, setting yourself up to go at that straight shot and get in that first turn first and control the first turn. A lot of us riders like to play with our gates. One of the things I look for is a level gate. You don't want to get into a rut. Normally there's already motos that have gone off and they get a good rut coming out and in front of the gate. And one thing I look for is the most level transition you can get from behind the pad out in front of the gate. And we're always down here and we're playing with the dirt, and that's what we're doing is we're just even out in the rut and filling in the way we want it to make it the most level transition possible. And that way you don't disrupt your bike and get out of course or end up wheeling, because you want that drive as hard as you can out of the gate.
All right, thanks, Will. So that's the start. Jeff Emig, take us through the rest of the track here in Texas.
Well, the start will be the only flat area of this racetrack here today. As you've seen in Moto 1, the track is deep, sand, wet in spots. It's really starting to get rough, and the soil here really pulls the horsepower out of the engine. It just really lugs the bike down. Then we saw the 450s. Now we're going to a smaller displacement, 250cc four-stroke, and these bikes are going to struggle because of that, and the riders are going to struggle a little bit because of the heat also.
All right, so that's a lap on the graphic. Let's do one more thing. Let's get inside the head of one of these riders. What are the keys to the race? We'll pick Malcolm Stewart here in really his second ever Pro National. What's he got to do, Jeff?
Yeah, and Malcolm's a big boy. Okay, he's quite a bit heavier than most of the other riders there, but his start technique is fantastic. He had great starts in the opening round last week. It's going to be tough today. His qualifying position was a little bit down. It was 22nd. And then limit the mistakes. We've seen that once Malcolm got good starts last week, that he made a lot of mistakes along the way. So just needs to smooth out, get up there, and have a solid race to build the foundation for a successful summer.
Let's send it down to the starting line with Aaron.
The number 25 of Ryan Sipes returns to racing after crashing during that first turn in the first moto at Hangtown, ending his day. Nothing is broken. He did bruise his left wrist, and he also irritated some old scar tissue. He said today is going to be a brutal one. 5th overall in practice. It's going to be tough, but he's ready to go.
Wow, that is good news. We thought he was done for the year with a broken wrist after crashing in the first turn of the first race last week, so we'll see what Sipes can do now that he is apparently A-OK and back in action. So we've learned how to get a good start. We've learned exactly where the track goes. We've learned the keys to the race for some of these riders. We could probably just lay out from here on out. Just let the riders take it from here. We've given them all the advice we could possibly give. Let's just call it.
All right, let's go and do it. I'm telling you,
go and do it.
Baggett, he's the rider that everyone's going to be chasing. He is really mentally and physically there for the win.
Watch him. He's got the red background, number 57. it looks like Marvin Musquin on the 125. No, Justin Barcia going to edge him out. And first turn crash. Martin Davalos in the 23 is down. Levi Kilbarger on the 412.
Champion was in there a little bit, and he had a great qualifying effort here today.
Yeah, it was flirting around the top 10, and Keely Rusk was also down to the number 60. Here's your battle. Justin Barcia, the number 17, GEICO Honda. Oh, and down and nails Musquin. Oh, man, I hope these guys are okay. You can actually hear the impact from Barcia's bike to Musquin's. Wow, they had this exactly where they wanted it, first and second, and now they are last and next to last. Musquin has walked up. His bike is destroyed. Look at that. Maybe you can, we'll take it through us on a replay here, first of all.
Yeah, watch. Barcia comes down in here and grabs the front brake, and really, Barcia hits really hard into the inside there, and Musquin just gets nailed.
It's an uppercut.
And such a disappointment, because last week, Musquin was down in the first moto start, and it passed everybody, got the RC Hard Charger Award. Notice he's kind of grasping his right wrist, maybe his left wrist there.
The entire front brake assembly and everything.
That's the clutch
side.
assembly.
Sorry, yeah.
Wow, and that's just that's going to set him back, not only this moto, but championship points and all that. So notice he's still holding one of his hands there. He's got his hands grasped together, and that leads me to believe that he probably has finger injury, something of the sort.
Stephen Clark, an Englishman, is down. This will be his last race. He's going back home to England after this one, so lots of carnage early. And look who's out front, Blake Baggett again.
Red plate on the Monster Energy Kawasaki. And this is the type of track here, horsepower-wise, that if you're light, like Baggett is, he's quite a bit smaller than his teammates. He's going to have a little advantage there by being, upwards of 20, 25 pounds lighter than the other riders. I mean, he's a little guy.
Dean Wilson is second of the 15, and Nico Izzi third of the number 42 Honda in the number 3 spot. There's Wilson. And Wilson had this race won last year, but the heat got to him. He kind of had a brain fade. He hopes to do better today, but he's got to beat Baggett. Aaron, what do you got on the 57?
Well, guys, because of all the extreme conditions out here and the humidity, Blake Baggett has taken every precautionary necessary. He has ended up taking a camel pack so he can stay hydrated throughout the moto. So whether or not he's going to use it both motos, we don't know at this point, but he's definitely staying on top of being hydrated throughout the moto.
You can see that orange hose and nozzle there on the left side of his helmet so he can drink. Explain how that works, Jeff.
Yeah, I think that all the riders are just, they just have the fear in them that this heat here in Texas, the heat and humidity, last year really damaged riders mentally, and so they're trying to take some measures to be able to take a little sip of water, something that's cold, wet your mouth and your tongue. I don't really think it's necessary personally. I mean, we're only talking about 35 minutes here. It's not like they're really going to rehydrate themselves, but I've seen quite a few guys wearing them.
Look at Baggett and Wilson hanging it out, first and second. Then we go back to Izzi, and then a bunch of riders putting pressure on him. The 28, that's Tyla Rattray, veteran from South Africa, is the next in the running order. Then you got Kyle Cunningham of the Yamaha 5th. His teammate Swanepoel is there. Broc Tickle, Lance Vincent, Ryan Sipes, Matt Lemoyne rounding out your top 10, but it is early in the first moto.
Well, the one thing that is apparent is that Baggett, Wilson, and Rattray once again are stepping up when it's time to race. Now, Wilson qualified 9th, and Rattray was 7th, with Baggett your fastest qualifier in practice today. But Wilson and Rattray really seem to step it up once the gate drops and the points are on the line.
The blue bike, if you can call it that, is pretty much a brown bike covered. That's Kyle Cunningham, DNA, Shred 6 Star Racing Yamaha's teammate Gareth Swanepoel right behind him. Both of them on the Yamahas trying to gang up on the green Kawasaki of Rattray. Rattray's 4th, Cunningham 5th, Swanepoel 6th. Just in front of them on the red bike, the Honda, is Nico Izzi. He is in 3rd. Good to see Nico up there. It has been a rough go of it the last 2 years for one of the true amateur prodigies of American motocross who has not been able to deliver on that potential. Big injuries, lots of trouble, but Izzi right now in 3rd in front of Rattray and this man, Kyle Cunningham.
Kyle Cunningham doing a great job here on the Yamaha this season, and there's something about the chemistry and the hard work that he's obviously putting in. I know he's got a close relationship with the man that works on his bikes, and they've got their own program, and it's really working because now you can see that he's laid down a foundation of success His speed's been there. He's becoming more, solid, with each passing race, and that's why Bobby Reagan and the guys at DNA Shred Sticks Yamaha signed his contract early.
Yeah, they didn't mess around. They both signed he and Ryan Sipes to their 2012 deals already, because that team had been maybe not the way they wanted it to be, but they had been a bit of a stepping stone. Broc Tickle rode for that team. And speaking of Broc Tickle, Aaron's got him. What happened, Aaron?
Very upsetting first moto for Broc Tickle. Broc, we witnessed you push your bike off the track. Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, I just started having some problems, and I just pulled off because it wouldn't run anymore. But looking forward to the second moto. These guys are going to get worn out, and I'll be fresh and ready.
You heard it from his mouth. He's ready.
That's the attitude to have,
energy,
Aaron, I'm telling you.
Save energy, don't ride.
I know what he's saying, and he can talk himself into that, but the thing that you cannot discount is how you get the flow of the track and you learn the lines. I had a national in '99 where I had a problem in the first moto, and then I tried to ride the second moto, and I really just had no sense of where the fast lines were on the track.
These guys, leader's down. Wow. So the roll he was on has finally stopped, literally, and now he cannot get his bike started. So I believe that will be Dean Wilson inheriting the lead, and that battle for third is now a battle for second with Nico Izzi, Rattray, Cunningham, Swanepoel. Baggett just got going. How many riders have gone by?
Well, Seeley, there's the 36 on the, there's Anderson.
And that's 13th that just passed him. So now Baggett goes from first to 14th. And that's what it's all about in this 250 class. We anticipated it before the series began. These are young riders. They ride it to the limit. And even when you seemingly have everything going your way, you are just a blink of an eye away from things changing in this group.
Yeah, and so that's Baggett now is back, comes across the line in 13th. And he's going to see the leaders quite a ways up in front. But right now, there's been some fantastic rides here for his teammate, Dean Wilson.
Dean Wilson, lucky. Yeah, he'll take it any way he can get it. Dean Wilson in the lead. Nico Izzi, Tyla Rattray battling second and third. This is going to get good. Stay with us on Fuel TV. More changes in the running order here. Fuel TV's live coverage of Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross racing from Texas. This man, Tyla Rattray, the 28, has moved into the number 2 spot. The red bike, the 42, and Nico Izzi had that position. Now he's under fire from Kyle Cunningham, the home track rider on the 35. And Cunningham bringing his teammate with him, Gareth Swanepoel. Cunningham trying to set up Izzi. Woo! Scrubbing it together over that big single.
Oh, it gets a little squirrely here. Cunningham on the edge, but never stopped his momentum. The Yamaha was jumping around a little bit under him, but he just kept the throttle pegged. And that's going to give him a nice position here. Izzy's starting to back up the pace a little bit. He's also got another Yamaha breathing down his neck here.
Yeah, that's Swanepoel. And behind them will be yet another Yamaha. Sipes 6th, then it's Tomac, Lance Vincent, and Matt Lemoyne and Cole Seeley. Lance Vincent, by the way, who is in the number 8 spot, is a replacement rider of the GEICO Honda team. Here goes Swanepoel going by Izzi. So Izzi was strong the first couple of laps, but now we are 12 minutes into this moto, and well, Izzi, like you on I-45 yesterday, guys, just going by him. What was the problem last night? Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
2 laps ago, Izzi turned a 2:13, which was on pace with some of the fastest laps. This lap, a 2:19, so a 6-second swing cost him 3 positions.
We'll give you a replay here while we're at break on Fuel TV of Rattray getting by Izzi for the number 2 spot, Jeff.
Yeah, just comes around the outside. You notice Izzi makes a mistake out of that turn and does not jump that step-down tabletop. And that just allows Rattray to just go around the outside with relative ease.
So we'll see if Rattray on the 28 can close in on the leader, his teammate, Dean Wilson. 7.8 seconds you see is the gap. And Jeff Wilson turning a little bit quicker lap time right now.
Yeah, Wilson was at a 2:12.7, Rattray a 2:13.4. So roughly half a second quicker Wilson is than Rattray. But once again, when you talk about the overall and points and everything, this is the type of moto that you really want to go out and say, okay, I want to put in a strong ride. But for Rattray, a second's as good as a first for the overall. And if you can conserve a little energy for the second moto, definitely take advantage of that idea.
Now, Jeff, at our opener in Hangtown, you mentioned some of the other teams that are trying to break through here. This class has been dominated by the Pro Circuit Kawasaki team and the GEICO Honda team the last couple of years, but now obviously the Yamaha boys are starting to make inroads. Well, they were, but we're catching one of the Star Racing riders over on the left of the screen, pulling off of the track.
Could that be Swanepoel there off the left of our screen? Here comes Baggett recovering from the fall, and Lance Vincent here.
Yeah.
GEICO Honda, he's a replacement rider for either Wharton, Hahn,
Jimmy Dakotas. They've
Jimmy
had so
Dakotas.
many injured riders.
And and bottom line is he was stuck in the second practice day, so he didn't ride with the fastest qualifiers. Put in a pretty good effort, but the Factory Connection team has a lot of belief in him that he can step up, and with a strong bike here, running inside of the top 10.
We'll give credit to the team he normally rides for. That's Moto Innovations, EBR Performance, Ankle Savers. Behind him, 2 Rockstar Suzuki riders. On the inside, the 156 of Jason Anderson and Nick Paluzzi on the 72, and they are hauling the mail right now. They're on the gas.
Nick Paluzzi, the 72 here on the outside, is also a replacement rider for the injured Ian Treadle.
Yep.
And so he stepped onto this Suzuki team here, Rockstar Suzuki, and doing a pretty good job here, running 12th at the moment, but it really seems like that he's starting to move forward, and his lap time's 2:18. Our leader, though, unfortunately for Paluzzi, our leader, Wilson, had just turned to 2:10.
Yeah, but he might have some company because Tyla Rattray just dropped it into the 2:10s as well. So Rattray going to give it his all to try to run down the leader. Another rider to watch, 58 on the red bike. That is Baker on the Lucas Troy Lee Honda. He is all over Paluzzi. This is what is so fun about this 250 class, Jeff. So many riders, and they are so aggressive because they're pretty much new to racing at this level. They don't know how to back down.
Yeah, and just behind Baker was Seeley, also on the Lucas Oil Honda, and then Darren Durham, who we've seen have that fantastic rides at the opening round. So this is the battle.
Jeez.
This is the battle for 10th through 15, and these guys are riding like it's like the title's on the line at this point.
Well, Paluzzi's riding well, but he's just got passed by 2 riders, Baker and Seeley. Baker 58, Seeley 36. Now Durham has gone by Paluzzi as well. And Durham, by the way, definitely has the least support out of anyone racing up front like this. He is riding out of a box van. That is old school, just an extended van as opposed to the semis like everybody else. Holding his own in the 37, Jeff.
And look who else is moving back up through is your whole shot winner, Justin Barcia, was 16th last lap around, and now he's in the back of this group here.
Yeah, unbelievable comeback for Barcia, who was, well, next to last because Marvin Musquin, the Frenchman, is gone after destroying his bike. So that would have meant Barcia was 39th, and he is now trying to get into the top 10. Look at how deep the field is. They just keep coming and coming and coming in this 250 class.
I know behind Barcia was Stewart, Ardette, Russ, Davalos, Futrell. I mean, we're talking about some incredibly talented young motocross racers.
We're so pumped to show you this 250 class live on Fuel TV because it's just exciting. Like we saw, Blake Baggett was your leader early, goes down. Never a dull moment in this division.
Paluzzi now, this is Paluzzi. He was running 11th. That's going to put him behind Audette or Russ. That's going to put him backwards at 18th and 19th. Problem for the Southern California rider.
And there is Malcolm Stewart. We had the keys to the race with him earlier. And, well, he didn't get the good start this time.
Nope, and not sure on the mistakes right now. He's running a pretty good pace. 18th, he's running 2:17s right now. And pretty much everyone from 12th back to 20th is at about that 2:17 point. And this is because you kind of get in that mode, and that's the group, and then everyone kind of runs the same speed. It's pretty hard to break out of that mold.
Next up, you see the 533 of Gannon Audette right behind him on the Yamaha. Jason Anderson trying to move forward, 156. Instead, a couple of Honda riders are going to zap him. I can barely keep up with who is who in this battle. You have Baker, Durham, Seeley. Now you're seeing the 46 of Alex Martin getting in the mix, along with Barcia. The 46 on the right side of your screen is Martin. The 36 is Seeley. On the outside in the blue gear is Barcia. Just sit back and enjoy this.
Well, and here's the section right here where Barcia went down with the whole shot. Now he comes around, last lap around, Barcia has worked his way up to 15th. And if you remember those replays off the start, when Barcia hit that inside barrier there, which is obviously full of hay, it didn't look like he was going to get up. He stayed there for a second before he even remounted, but what an incredible effort. out of Justin Barcia on that GEICO Honda to get back on the bike, remount, and go after it. I mean, he is digging deep right now.
Man, they are. This is incredible racing outside of the top 10, but like you said, you think they're battling for the title. Can barely keep up with who's who. Malcolm Stewart on the 139 is putting pressure on Barcia. He has got the 533 of Audette right behind him.
Durham's got a problem on the far right of your screen there.
Yeah.
on the red Honda, it looks like Durham has backed off the pace.
Yeah. All right,
Not sure what the deal is, but you can tell by his body language when he just kind of, stands up and the aggressiveness goes away.
And now Audette making a move on Stewart. Too many riders to call. Amazing racing in the 250 class outside of the top 10, but up front, complete domination from Dean Wilson. 9-second lead over Rattray.
It's back.
Who doesn't like celebrities, comedy, and music? The Daily Habit is your destination for the hottest stars, athletes, comics, and cutting-edge musical acts on TV. Watch it weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern and Pacific only on Fuel TV. Now we're lucky Wil Hahn, he's unlucky, he's out injured, but he did show up at this race and he's going to give us a little tour of what it's like to hang out here at Freestone.
Hey, it's Wil Hahn here. We're at a Freestone County Raceway. I'm a spectator this weekend just like everybody else, just a normal guy, and we're going to go check out a few cool places to watch. We're here at the starting line at Freestone, and coming through the first turn here will be some good action to be watching. And obviously as a spectator, it'd be good to cram in here. And as you're coming out of the first turn, there's a bunch of hard racing, banging bars coming out into the first turn, so it should be good. Hey, we're at the mechanics area here at Freestone, and as a rider, this is not where you want to be during the races, obviously, but this is where all the mechanics forward the information out to the riders. They have TVs with the monitors, with their position, time, everything like that, and all the above, and this would be a good place to watch if you're here at Freestone. Here in the bleachers, as you can see, Tony's done a great job with the facility, and it makes it a really good place to watch as a spectator. Couldn't be better location than this right here. You're right in the second turn. Great racing action, but man, I gotta go find my friends. Hey, I'm hurt, but I had a great time showing you guys around Tony's facility here. But I gotta make the best out of it, and I found my friends, so I'd love to enjoy some racing.
He is never going to want to return to the racetrack as a racer. See how cool it is to do TV?
Hey,
see what happens?
Dean's trying to go as fast as he can to the podium because that's where they will be
the
also.
same spot.
That's right.
Tony, who Will was referring to, is Tony Miller, the owner of this facility, and Tony's son Clayton is actually a racer as well. So it's a motocross family that definitely puts their heart and soul into this facility, try to make it the best track they possibly can, and what a great track they have put together for our Memorial Day weekend motocross celebration.
You know, this looks a lot like last year in Moto 2. But I am pretty sure that Dean Wilson, your leader, is going to do everything he can to ride 100%, non-drop off the pace, all the way to the checkered flag, try to take the Moto win, because that was a real disappointment. But what a way for Wilson to come back.
Yeah.
And possibly, if he can hold on for about another 10 minutes and win this Moto. I'll tell you, Rattray is going to try to do just what he did last year in that second Moto and come back and win it.
We're waiting for the number 35 in the third place spot. That would be Kyle Cunningham. Yeah, last year, late in the second Moto, Wilson was leading Rattray. It was so hot, Wilson, I think he basically wasn't able to keep it. Oh! Crash there by a lap rider. We hope that Cunningham can sneak through. He does.
Rock River rider.
And we'll get you the name on that in just a moment.
That's Milliken, the 707.
Alex Milliken down. And but what happened with Wilson last year, he basically had a brain fade. He got confused. It was the last lap. He thought Rattray was a lap rider. He let him pass him. And that was actually on the lead lap, so he lost the lead.
Hard lesson learned. And there was a great soundbite with his team owner, Mitch Payton, last year. He basically had like, look, we don't even have to say anything. Yeah. He knows, he feels it. And like I said, this year he got a little lucky here with Baggett going down, but strong ride. And I'll tell you, I'm really impressed here with Cunningham. Texan, third place, yeah, and it's close.
Got a little lucky there on that section. All right, well, sometimes better be lucky than good, whether you have a guy fall out of the lead or whether you just barely stay up over the finish line jump, whatever it is.
Yeah, but this tells you just what type of conditions the track is out there. You see the bikes jumping around, and And the lap riders like Musquin having the problems. Just obviously things aren't going right, and it gets worse when he goes down. Rider like Swanepoel here, who we just see going by on the Yamaha. I've been really impressed because you talk about being off of the radar with an injury.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't even mention his name, and then at the opening round, all of a sudden, wait, Gareth is in this thing, and he's putting together some pretty good rides. So did a great job of recovering from the injury and getting himself physically fit to compete in this championship.
Travis Baker out of this moto, and he's down with Aaron. Aaron?
He is out of this moto. Tough break for you, Travis. Can you take us through what happened while you're in the mechanics area?
I just came around the corner and just mechanical malfunction. So out of this race, kind of bummed. I was sitting, I think, 9th. So go on to next moto.
The mechanical is going to happen. It's most likely going to happen here in Houston, guys.
Yeah, that's true. The heat is definitely hurting these motorcycles. Lots of mechanical trouble. We haven't even seen this rider in this moto yet. Eli Tomac has quietly climbed up to the number 5 spot, Jeff.
Yeah, putting in a strong ride right here, and this was a real pivotal race for him last year. After he come out, won the opening round, and really just suffered from some heat exhaustion. And I got a feeling that together with his father John, that they have a plan together here to manage that and put that sort of incident behind them. Because we're going to have a long, hot summer. If you can't ride in the heat, then AMA Motocross is not the job for you. But Tomac, this is a pretty solid ride here. He's turning a 2:13. Your leader Wilson's at a 2:11.
Nico Izzi is 6th, a privateer Honda rider on the, yes he is. Yeah, we get to bring that joke back. He's on the Kilbarger Racing Honda. I aired before. I said Darren Durham had the least support of anyone running up here, but you got a couple privateers breaking through. Izzy and also Matt Lemoyne, who will be next in the order, the number 48. He is also a Texas native. He is also a privateer, and that means they don't receive the big support from the OEM manufacturers. This kid on the 48 on the green bike here, basically go out to the dealership, buy a bike, go race.
Yeah, but what they do have, which cannot be overlooked, is there's a lot of smaller companies, people that are putting in a big effort for them to, whether it's parts and support, technical help, all that. And so for Lemoyne to be out there running a 7th place in this moto, that's a fantastic ride.
And here's Baggett, who was your leader earlier in the race, went down, lost a lot of spots, has climbed back to 8th. It is now a series points salvaging mission for Baggett. There's almost no way he could win the overall today with an 8th, or even if he got up to 7th or 6th. He's just trying to salvage it.
I think you're throwing the towel in too early.
Oh, yeah?
This class, yeah, anything can happen. All right. And it's always, my days, it was a 125 two-stroke class. Now it's 254 strokes. It's not unheard of for a rider to have a 5-1, 1-5, a 2-3 to win the overall, because there's so much talent, and the riders, for the most part, are pretty evenly matched. Also, a track like today, mechanical malfunctions, the heat exhaustion, all these different factors play into it. That this, I believe, is one of the toughest nationals on the circuit.
How about Justin Barcia trying to salvage some points of his own? Here's what happened last week at Hangtown, was leading the 2nd moto. Take us through this crash.
Yeah, he gets to the right a little bit and just stops on this hay bale, and that's going to be the theme of this highlight reel here for Barcia. Watch him grab some front brake, whack, right into the hay bale. His bike hits Musquin, and you notice Barcia stayed there for a little bit before he even got up and to his feet, but Barcia now all the way up inside the top 10.
Yeah, unbelievable. He has come from 39th to 9th. Dean Wilson, what can you say about this guy? I know we said that Baggett fell out of the lead and maybe got a little lucky, but that was early. No doubt Wilson was going to give him a run. He's in the number 1 spot right now. Listen up, action sports fans. It's the world's greatest skateboard event, and it's coming to you from the Big Apple. Watch the Maloof Money Cup presented by Vans live from New York City, Saturday, June 4th, Sunday, June 5th, 4 p.m. Eastern on Fuel TV. Jeff Emming, what's happening?
Jason, as you're watching Baggett here, he's got a water system like a Camelback strapped to his neck brace and all that. And I just often wonder how they keep the nozzle, if they ride with the nozzle of that thing in their mouth, or if they, reach up, and it just seems, distracting to me.
Yeah, have the nozzle there. Well, maybe that costs somebody else. Watch this. He was putting pressure on Matt Lemoyne while we were at break. Ryder goes down. Lemoyne gets tangled with him, and that allows Baggett to slide right through. So that was an easy pass from 57. Yeah, Johnny Moore. Incidentally, he's the teammate of Lance Vincent, who has moved from that privateer Moto Innovations team over to the GEICO Honda team as a replacement rider for the injured Wil Hahn. Can you guys keep up with all that?
I have no idea.
Okay.
All I know is that
Dean Wilson,
12 laps led.
That's pretty much all of them. 2 to go for Dean Wilson. It was this section right here where he really started to come unraveled a year ago and waved his teammate Tyla Rattray by. The heat was basically getting to him. I don't think he's going to let that happen again. Show you this. Dean Wilson has this race in hand. The overall, what is he going to let him have it? Unbelievable. He basically pulled over for Rattray, then he pulled over for the second place or the third place rider, Broc Tickle, who then moved to second. And with that, Wilson, falling from first to third, lost the overall for the afternoon. He didn't realize that until the race was over. He thought those were 2 lapped riders battling for position, and he said, hey, I'm a lap ahead, I'm cruising to the finish, have it, guys.
Yeah, well, he's going to take this one all the way. And if you watch that replay, you watch that race back, Tickle hammered it all the way to the checkered flag, and so it was a real lesson for everyone involved, especially all the young motocrossers that are watching, is that, hey, look, this race is from the drop of the gate to the checkered flag, okay? Wilson's got a nice lead right now. He's got about 11 seconds over Rattray. But you have to keep focused. You have to be calm. You have to hit your lines, go all the way to the checkered flag. Because, I mean, I've made mistakes too, even before, you know, as an amateur, where you kind of do the bonehead move where you pull over at the white flag. You think it's a checkered flag, things like that. So Wilson, though, what a ride. This is going to feel good. And I hope that he has a smile on his face and he's changed that demeanor, because earlier today, I'm telling you, Jason, he was all business. He almost looked disappointed or mad or something. This is going to be a good win. And when we see him on the podium, I'm sure he's going to have a big smile.
Hey, if I was mad coming into the moto and I win like this, I would want to get in a bad mood every Saturday morning, because it has worked for him in this one. It would have been interesting, though, to see him and Baggett square off. I don't think Wilson's going to be happy if people say, well, Baggett had it and he fell. I mean, that was, what, a lap and a half into the race?
He's going to have a chance once again here in about another 2 hours to do it again and possibly go for the overall here at Freestone.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see those 2 teammates mix it up. Rattray second, Cunningham in third. Just a few corners left. Wilson is not backing down in the same manner he did last year, although I think he's taken just a little something off. He's got an 11-second lead in the final lap. Pointing out to Marvin Musquin, you just saw the name go by on the top of your screen.
Musquin. We're going to get I've already got it. I'm practically French now.
Well, he told us in France, Musquin. People in the United States call him Musquin. We got to figure it out. Maybe we'll find him in Moto 2 and we'll talk about some more.
You know what I'm going to call Wilson? Moto 1 winner.
Nice. You're going to stick your neck out and predict it's going to happen?
Can he hold on? Prediction.
All right, let's see. He's got one more mound of dirt to get over, and he has done it. Dean Wilson wins the first moto here at Freestone in Texas, and a pretty big gap back to his teammate, Tyla Rattray. Solid as always in second, 8 seconds, the final margin of victory between Wilson and Rattray. And the fans here in Texas are going to be very happy because one of their own is looking to polish this thing off with a podium finish in the moto, Kyle Cunningham.
I know, Cunningham and Swanepoel, third and fourth, as here they come, and that's a big finish for the DNA Shred Sticks Yamaha. This team starts inching forward, getting better and better as the season goes on.
Well, Jeff, you and I talked about that at the beginning of the season. Can a team break through to challenge the Kawasaki's and the Hondas, who kind of owned this class the last couple of years? Those Yamahas starting to get in the mix, and maybe the KTM at Musquin can get healed up and ready for Moto 2.
There you go. Come on, Dean, let's see a smile. You just dominated Moto 1 here at arguably one of the hottest, toughest races.
Speaking of tough races, it sure was for the 57. A Baggett who crashed, went pretty far back. I think, 14th, 15th, has climbed his way back into 7th. So, yes, making something out of what could have been nothing. And there he is, your winner last week in California. Will take 7th in Moto 1. He'll look for better in Moto 2. We'll cover those races on Speed TV a little bit later tonight, Saturday. There is the 139 of Malcolm Stewart. Did he follow through with the keys to the race, Jeff?
Well, he doesn't have his goggles on right now, I don't think.
That's a key.
And that is going to be a key thing here as you see so much roost going up. So Stewart riding up to an 11th place, pretty strong. Definitely the Arma Energy Suzuki team has got to be happy about that. And he really has been a great addition to this team and shown that they've got their program together. And along with that Shred 6 Yamaha team, they're really starting to get better.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of teams in this 250 class starting to make some steps forward and challenge the big dogs.
I'll tell you what I'd be doing. That's what Wilson's doing. Get your boots off. Remember we were talking earlier?
Yeah, okay.
Get your helmet, jersey, gloves, everything off. Start to get cooled off. I love to get my boots off as quick as I can. And Tomac right there coming in 5th. GEICO Honda to get some of the sand and mud out of his mouth at this point.
Well, it's in many ways, Jeff, it's kind of like the race has begun. There will be a second moto later today, so these guys, they're done. Now they got to recover. Wilson's doing his best to do that. Rest up, cool down, and be ready to come back and win another one later today. We'll talk to Dean Wilson on the podium when we return, as well as his teammate Tyla Rattray and third place Kyle Cunningham. You're watching live motocross on Fuel TV.
This is
Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship Racing live on Fuel TV. We've just completed the first 250 moto at the Rockstar Energy Drink Freestone National. Here are the results. Your top 10, Wilson, Rattray, Cunningham on the podium via the top 3. Nico Izzi holds on for a solid run in 6th. Blake Baggett, after a crash, ends up in 7th. Good job by Matt Lemoyne. Texan to finish 8th. Malcolm Stewart, 11th. A couple other riders to watch in here. Justin Sipes, that's Ryan's brother, finishes top 20. Go through 21 through 30. A couple of names in there. Stephen Clark, who had a crash early, comes back for 21st, just misses out on the points. And big names here in the final 40, including Marvin Musquin, who was down on the first lap with a crash with Justin Barcia, and Broc Tickle, who had some mechanical troubles. Let's go down to the podium with our winner, and Aaron Bates.
It was a rookie miscalculation that cost Dean Wilson big last year. But Dean, you were actually really sick all week long. You said you were only able to ride 2 days. Did you surprise yourself coming in here as strong as you did?
Yeah, I mean, practice didn't go so well, but, you know, I don't really care about practice times. And, yeah, I came off the gate and avoided the crashes, and I was in 2nd. And, you know, like I said, I didn't ride for a couple days, and it just feels good to win and get that little monkey off my back, you know. And I'd like to thank everybody, Monster Energy Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Thor. You can tell the heat's getting to me a little bit again, but I'm good, and I'll be ready for second moto.
Dean, last week when you came up onto the podium, you were absolutely furious with yourself, and you said, I don't want to do this anymore. What you were implying was getting a bad start. It looks as all your hard work paid off this week. Yeah, I mean, I was furious last week because, I mean, I'm just over coming from behind. Supercross, you know, every race I won, I was coming from behind, and same as Hangtown, I came from behind. So I just really wanted to get a good start, and I didn't quite get it, but, you know, look, trying to get it next moto. Congratulations on a job well done.
Did he say avoided the crashies?
Hey.
I think that was the accents we were talking about sneaking in.
I love it. Such a great personality. He's a cool kid.
Definitely. All right, Dean Wilson has the moto win. We'll talk to second and third when we return here live to Wortham, Texas.
Fuel TV presents.
Who doesn't like celebrities, comedy, and music? The Daily Habit is your destination for the hottest stars, athletes, comics, and cutting-edge musical acts on TV. Watch it weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern and Pacific only on Fuel TV. Just completed our first moto here, and Aaron Bates has our second place finisher. Aaron?
Coming into this afternoon, Tyla Rattray said to me that you knew today was going to be brutal and it was going to be tough. It was definitely both during that first moto. But Tyla, take us through how much, not only physically, but how much is mental preparation important for this race?
Well, that's key. I mean, that's mental and also physical. You need to do your training during the winter, and I'm one of the fittest in the class, I feel, and definitely looking forward to that second moto. It was tough out there for sure, and just try to get into a nice rhythm and save some energy, and just want to thank all the guys from Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Parts Unlimited, Thor, Vans, Volcom. Shout out to my wife and my baby at home that are watching.
We'll show you exactly how Tyla Rattray got second and how Dean Wilson took the win with our race recap. Carnage off the start here, Jeff.
Barcia into the top block, and Musquin gets nailed in his helmet, right in his face. Got a little problem with his right wrist, it looks like. But it was Baggett who was out front sailing until he put the Kawasaki on the ground.
Yeah, and then had a tough time refiring it, inheriting the lead. Dean Wilson, and wins in a romp 8 seconds, the total margin of victory for Wilson over his teammate Rattray. Let's send it down to Aaron with our third place finisher.
The Texas home state boy comes in making a statement, but Kyle, take us through. You and your coach Grant Langston have really been working hard on your starts. He's implemented a new program for you. How much is that helping you out?
It's been awesome. GL's a good guy, and man, we didn't get the greatest jump, but we tucked in the first corner, and just rode a solid 30+ too. My bike was really good. I dehydrated last weekend, so feeling a little bit of fatigue right now, but we're gonna get back to the pit, get ready for the next moto, and I gotta give it up to the DNA Shred 6 Star Racing Yamaha team. Dunlop, Scott, Infab, Cosworth, everyone, they've been great, and I'm glad we could get up here.
Great job. Go cool off and regroup. We'll see you back for Moto 2.
Yeah, he doesn't sound too good right there. He needs some recovery big time. Yeah,
these guys are feeling it. Hey, we'll give you the upcoming television schedule here for Fuel TV. Man, that wind is blowing. We'll have the highlight show from all the races here at Freestone Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Our next race live at 1 p.m. Eastern from High Point, Pennsylvania. That's on June 11th. Then we'll have the highlights of that Thursday night at 10 after that race is complete. And then our next round, Budds Creek, Maryland. First motos live on Fuel TV at 1 p.m. Eastern. So basically, we're racing live motos on Saturdays on Fuel, and then Thursday night, 10 Eastern, every week, we'll have the highlights of all the races. Perfect. Meanwhile, Aaron has picked up the teammate at Cunningham, 4th place finisher, Gareth Swanepoel. Aaron?
That's right. Well, it's as close as you could have been to the podium. Gareth, take us through your performance, and are you surprised at just what went on?
Well, sort of. You know, last week I got a top 5 in the second moto. First race I got a very bad start. This race I got a semi-good start and ended up 4th. It's really hot, so you got to make sure you don't overheat. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I just want to say thanks to DNA Shred 6 Yamaha, Scott, Dunlop, Infab, FMF, Enzo, Cosworth, our mechanic Eric Gas, Brad, just everyone at our workshop. Thanks a lot.
Congratulations on a job well done. Go cool off.
Yamaha is starting to sneak up in there. 2 riders in the top 5, Jeff.
Yeah, but you can see the fatigue is setting in for everyone. And so the riders that actually can recover the best, I mean, we have a 2-moto format, okay? 1 moto's in the book, you got some points, but now for the overall, who can recover and come out strong again the second moto?
Yeah, the fans you see taking cover to try to recover themselves, and they didn't even just put
out having issues right there.
Yeah, relationship issues or just reasons of the heat? Those second motos, by the way, will be on speed tonight at 10 Eastern and then 11. So we'll have back-to-back 2 hours of second motocross action on speed. So flip over to that. Big thanks to Aaron Bates and Jeff Emick.
You're welcome.
And great racing here on Fuel TV. We're glad you folks could join us. AllySports.com, by the way, is how you can follow this series on the web. Wild days, as always, in the 250 class. We crown first moto winners in 2 classes, Chad Reed and Dean Wilson. So well done for those boys. I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for checking us out today on Fuel TV.
Last week in Hangtown, Pro Circuit Kawasaki's Blake Baggett carved his name into the record books with a win at the Hangtown Classic. Baggett's first career victory led a Kawasaki score to the podium. Moto 1 winner Dean Wilson came home in second, followed by former world champion Tyla Rattray. The championship battle heads to Texas. The time is now for proven contenders to step up. Honda's Eli Tomac, 2-time world champion Marvin Musquin, and 3-time series winner Justin Barcia. Round 2 of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship is set to get underway from Wortham, Texas. Welcome to Texas. It's round 2 of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship, the Rockstar Energy Drink Freestone National from Wortham. Hello everyone, Jason Wygant, joined by 4-time AMA National Champion Jeff Emick for speed coverage of the 250 class. And this is going to be an exciting race to watch. This class is always wild, but it has been especially so far this year. We'll give you the idea of the big picture storylines we're going to be following. We'll take you back to last week. Contenders struggle at round 1. Ryan Sipes had a big crash in the first moto. Second moto, Marvin Musquin down. Justin Barcia down. And Dean Wilson, guess what? Down. Yeah, so those guys had up and down days, but it was all up for the number 57 of Blake Baggett. Had never won a race at this level before,
Well, he's got one now. He dominates the second moto at Hangtown. He is your winner. So, Blake Baggett, maybe not on everyone's list of favorites when the year began. He is now, so you better get to know this kid.
I had a pretty good amateur career. I was really fast on mini bikes some years, and then other years, I was back buried in the pack. So I kind of had ups and downs through that. And then as soon as I turned pro, I went out and did the last 3 outdoors on my own as a privateer. I definitely felt pretty confident for what I had coming in, and just kind of worked away at it. Supercross was new. Ended up getting a ride with Canada Rockstar Suzuki, Bobby Hewitt. I definitely felt pretty confident for what I had coming in, and I ended up breaking my arm in practice, Budge Creek, and that was the end of my outdoor season. So just going to try to be smart this year and work through it. And I think I've learned a lot through Supercross of what not to do and what to do and how to be smart about it and how to kind of read the people that are racing you around and what their mindset is and try to figure out what they're thinking and try to outthink them. Just physically, mentally, you just got to be as tough as you can and fight through it. And at the end of the day, somebody's holding a check and somebody's got that trophy, and for that next week, they say, yep, I won the last race. That's right.
Well, he certainly did win the last race. Can he win this one? Going to be tough on him. We have 2 motos, and we'll explain all that with our Motocross 411. We already have 1 race in the books from earlier today. We'll be showing you the second one. Here's how motocross works. 2 motos, each with 40 riders, and each race lasts 30 minutes and 2 laps. So it's a true test of endurance. No rest in this sport. If we have a tie where, say, a rider wins the first moto and gets second in Moto 2, and another rider gets second in Moto 1 and wins Moto 2, the tiebreaker is the better Moto 2 finish. So that's how we go racing. Now, this is the track we will be racing on, Jeff.
And it is a difficult track, and there's a lot of soft spots in it, and especially for the 250 class here, those soft areas, if you get bogged down, that's where you have to rely upon an engine with a lot of horsepower. It also just stops your momentum and all that forward momentum. And so it's going to be important for their line choice and to keep your momentum up through the turns and not to really bury it in those soft berms.
All right, so that's what the track looks like from a distance. Here's what it looks like right down on it, Jeff.
Well, here's what it looks like if you're Rockstar Energy's Nick Paluzzi. Notice all the soft spots here and where those ruts are. Listen to the bike as he comes down through here, and the engine's really laboring to push the bike through. That's where it's critical on the 250F, especially for all of your shifting. I mean, you have got to be on it and keep those RPMs at a precise point to get the maximum horsepower out of that engine.
So now we'll give you the highlights of the first moto from earlier today. They did a shakeup in this series. Off the start, Marvin Musquin coming through, looking good in the KTM. Justin Barcia will knife underneath him, and then disaster is going to strike. Not just for these riders down in turn 1, but also for Barcia and Musquin, Jeff.
Yeah, watch as they come through here. Barcia tucks the front wheel, and watch him just plow into the bike, and then Musquin catches the back tire of Barcia's bike. It would break a bone in his hand. It just knocked him right in the helmet.
Broc Tickle, a Supercross champion, out with mechanical troubles early. That's one of your favorites. Then Blake Baggett was leading the race in the 57. He crashes. He can't get the bike restarted, loses the lead, and goes way back.
And the benefactor of that is the 15 of Dean Wilson, rebounding from a frustrating race last year. Just had a fantastic second moto going, or first moto, sorry. Also
a fantastic race early for Nico Izzi on the 42, but he will get passed by Tyla Rattray, who will grab the runner-up spot. Also going to watch the 35. Kyle Cunningham coming on strong.
Gets past Izzi here also, just really had some strong lines and just kept pushing his way forward.
And pushing his way forward to the win, Dean Wilson. Congrats to the Scots-Canadian Californian who's got another moto win after winning the first moto last week. Let's send it down to Aaron Bates with a Progressive pre-race report. Aaron.
It was a very tough day for the number 125 of Marvin Musquin, the 2-time world champion. An injury update for you. During that crash when he ran into Barcia's bike, he actually jarred his left thumb so severely that it compounded his thumb and the joint. So at this point, it's undetermined of when we'll see him back.
Wow, compound fracture of the thumb. That's probably going to be a long recovery. It's going to hurt. You can imagine how rough these tracks are. Let's go racing here, Moto 2. Baggett leads them into turn 1, but I think Barcia's going to lead them out of it. That's a relatively clean start for motocross, only 3 or 4 riders down.
Well,
Justin
here we
Barcia,
go.
yeah, right back where he was.
Justin Barcia, this is through the turn where he fell the first moto.
Can he make it through this time? Dean Wilson has stolen 2nd place.
Here it is, same shot, same line.
Makes
Different
it through.
result, yes. And I tell you, Barcia, he came back to a 9th after going down. So a strong ride. Now let's see where his fitness is at and if he can grab this moto win. This young rider is fired up.
Wilson 2nd, another good start. Nico Izzi 3rd, yes he is. And what happened to Baggett, who was 2nd? He gets bumped back around to 4th. And we see the 35 of Cunningham in 5th. So a lot of the contenders who are up front in Moto 1 are back here in Moto 2.
Well, heat's going to play a big factor. Fitness is going to be the key here. Minimize the mistakes at this point and really try to find those lines where maybe not the smoothest line, but the line where you're just flowing and carrying your momentum and not beating yourself up, because every one of these riders by the end of this moto are going to be completely fatigued. They've already done one 35, 36-minute moto, had a time to rest, get rehydrated, put on some clean gear, and fill the bike back up with gas, and now they got to go do it all over again at what arguably could be the hottest race of the season, and we're only in the 2nd round of this AMA Motocross Championship.
Well, we also have one of the hottest rivalries in the sport. There is no love lost whatsoever between the 17 of Barcia leading and the 15 of Dean Wilson in 2nd. They have had some crazy battles in the indoor Supercross series. So we'll see if they can carry that outdoors right now early in this 2nd moto. Man, this track's beat up.
Yeah, look at the riders coming through that rut with both feet off of the pegs. Now you're going to, as this moto goes on, that rut's going to get too deep. It's going to slow you down. Watch for the riders to start moving further to the right to stay out of that.
Nico Izzi, what a ride for him today. This guy has missed most of this year with injuries, missed Supercross races, and really the last couple of seasons. So it's good to see him up there. There's Baggett on 57, the 19 of Eli Tomac. Broc Tickle is back, the number 20. And as always in this 250 class, too many riders, too close to call them all. It is stacked this year in this division. Back to our leader. That is Barcia and Wilson. And Wilson closing in, I think, just a little bit. Some trouble back here.
Well, this is what happens. This is a blind jump, so all the other riders are coming over. There's Futrell.
Jeez. Scott Champion.
Tons of riders in there. And for Scott Champion, he had a really good qualifying effort today. The motos haven't gone as planned, but also one of the riders who was up inside of our top 5 in the first moto, Gareth Swanepoel from South Africa, is running back in about 18th. Here, so he's got his work cut out for him if he's going to try to get on the podium or even inside the top 5 for the overall.
We had a battle on our hands. Dean Wilson starting to run down Justin Barcia. It was very much the same scenario last week in our 2nd moto at Hangtown, and Barcia under pressure clipped a hay bale and crashed. Can he hold on this time? And let's send it down to Aaron, who is, hey, we're in a nice air-conditioned booth. Aaron, are you in an air-conditioned booth or no?
I am far from in an air-conditioned booth. It is sweltering hot down here, but I have to say the wind is making it bearable today. But in between motos, when I was walking around the pits, I noticed that the pro circuit team had large garbage pails filled with ice and cold water, and I caught both Dean Wilson and Tyla Rattray immersed down into their neck trying to cool off to prepare for this moto number 2.
That's a painful way to get the body temperature down. But Jeff, we were talking earlier about that recovery.
It hurts, and that's what they're trying to do for their recovery, is to get their core body temperature down as fast as they can. And I've actually tried that before. I don't like it much. But hey, it's working for Dean Wilson, because look how fired up he is. He is just aggressive here in this 2nd moto. He's riding with a lot of enthusiasm. And you mentioned that rivalry between the 17 and the 15. Okay, this is that's what I love about this age where they're at and in this class, is that these guys are just, they are so fired up and they ride with so much aggression.
Yeah, I think it's just getting started here between Barcia and Wilson. Definitely going to be fun to watch. Izzi running strong in 3rd.
For 125 years,
The Lucas Oil AMA.
Ready?
Yeah, this guy right here, Justin Barcia, the GEICO Power Sports Honda. been dealing with some pressure from Dean Wilson. And look, just totally different lines on this track for these two.
Well, and if you're in the lead, what you're trying to do at this point, being out front, is you're trying to put together clean laps. You're trying to force the guy behind you to ride over his head to try to catch him. Same thing. If you're the guy from behind, you're trying to put together the best laps that you can. You get the RPMs in the guy's ear. You're trying to make him think that you're there just pouncing on him the whole time, try to distract him. So quite the chess match going on between our leaders, and what that's done is that's allowed them to pull out a huge lead over third place, which is Nico Izzi.
8 seconds between second place rider Wilson and Izzi third. Yes, he is. Then Cunningham fourth, Rattray fifth. Tomac, Sealy, Davalos, Tickle, and Baggett round out the top 10. So Baggett not able to find the magic, at least early in the second moto. Check out Sealy, Lucas Oil, Troy Lee Honda. Davalos, finally seeing Davalos up front. It has been a rough season for the Rockstar Suzuki man, but he wants to make a bid at least for a top 5 in this second moto. He is 8th.
Well, and for the most part, Cole Sealy here, 36 on that Lucas Oil Honda, he's been battling from the back of the pack also. He hasn't got that start to run up front here with the leaders. But here's what I was talking about, momentum. And
Wilson, oh, and of course they come together, and this time Wilson goes down. What'd you say about magnets? These two always find each other, and it always gets nasty. And this time Wilson, the short end of the stick. Izzi goes by, Cunningham goes by. Yes, they had a big lead over third, but not that big. And now he's trying to get the bike into neutral because he can't start it in gear.
Yeah, those 250Fs, when they heat up, they don't like to start too well when the engine is hot, but he's up and going. That's going to put him 8th, just in front of Tickle.
Well, it's a shakeup, not just in the moto, but now for the overall, because we count the points in both races. Wilson won the first one. His teammate Tyla Rattray finished second. Rattray would be, I believe, 4th right now. Take us to the crash.
Okay, now Barcia stuffs it in the turn, and Wilson carries his momentum around and goes for it. Now, when he realizes that he doesn't have the wheel on Barcia, but he hits that big kicker, and he just cannot stop his momentum. Now, Barcia is going to, you know, if you watch this replay, he'll understand what went on. But Barcia, in his mind, is going, man, he just tried to take me out right now. He just went for the jugular, and which will only fuel the fire even more.
I was going to say, he probably smiles when he thinks of that.
Now it's an 11-second lead for Justin Barcia, and after last week's disappointment, this is exactly what Factor Connection was hoping would happen with Justin Barcia, is to catch fire here at the second moto.
Kyle Cunningham has gotten around Nico Izzi, so the Texan is up to second at his home race. But here comes Tyla Rattray. He's working on Izzi and swoops in for the number 3 spot. What a move. Rattray's on the go because he has a shot now at the overall with Dean Wilson, your first moto winner, dropping back with a crash.
And that was a committed pass. Tyla Rattray was in there, and if Izzi had stayed in it, he might have found himself over that tough block there. That was a tight section, but Rattray, 2 years in a row, second moto here at Freestone. He has shown that he is fit and he is fast, and when it gets hot, track's rough and nasty, this is when the South African just seems to excel.
Well, we saw him after practice today, and he said it's Africa hot, and he likes it that way.
I said, what? I said, it's hot in South Africa?
Yeah,
He's
I didn't realize that.
He's like, bro, study your geography here.
Okay, Rattray up to third. Kyle Cunningham is going to have to deal with him in second. Let's check in with this guy, Lance Vincent, who is a replacement rider. Wil Hahn, Blake Wharton are injured on that team, so he's got the shot with the GEICO team today. What's he got to do to make this work? Your Rocky Mountain keys to the race.
Well, Vincent had a top 10 going. He did go down in the first moto. Good start. No, couldn't really check that off. But he is earning his ride. He has put in some strong rides, and what the team managers and everybody can see as Vincent runs in 11th right now is effort. It is so transparent when you're out there. You know the guys that are hammering it and going all the way to the checkered flag, just leaving it all out on the track, and that's what they expect out of these riders. Good job, Lance.
Normally, Lance rides for the Moto Innovations Ankle Savers Privateer team. Said, hey, we're not going to deny you a chance on a factory bike. Take it. And right now, he's leading Blake Baggett in a battle for 11th. Back Car Warriors at 8. A serious injury may cause the challengers to throw in the towel early. Then at 9, a conflict between Itchy and Rhino may cost the All-Stars the build. That's back-to-back Car Warriors Wednesday night, beginning at 8 Eastern on Speed. Battle for second here Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship Racing, Rockstar Energy Drink National from Freestone, Texas. Tyla Rattray in the 28, going after Kyle Cunningham on the 35.
Still have a lot of time left in this moto, but if my math is correct, this is the battle for the overall. And Cunningham, barring a top 3 from Wilson, that's going to make this thing pretty close, because you know Wilson's going to be strong all the way to the end, but he's got Tomac and Izzi in front of him.
Well, we'll break it down like this. They finished in reverse order in Moto 1. These two riders are watching. Rattray finished second, Cunningham finished third. Now Cunningham is second, Rattray is third, and the tiebreaker is the better finish in Moto 2. So if it ends like this, they will be tied on points. Cunningham, by virtue of the better second Moto finish, will win the overall. That'd be the first ever overall win for Cunningham. So really it comes down to these two. Can Rattray make the pass? Can Cunningham hold Rattray off? And we're only halfway through the moto.
Yeah, and I think it comes down also to the 42 of Nico Izzi. He faded back a little bit in the first moto. He's got Tomac and Wilson Seeley just behind him.
Man, it is chilly here in the booth. I might have to put a jacket on. Aaron, what's it like down on the track?
That's not even right. It's far from chilly out here, you guys. It is a blistering high 90 degrees. But today there's something going on that's a little bit different. This place got a history of being cruel to the riders because of the heat. And the Asterix medical team has advised everyone to drink their fluids and to stay hydrated. From riders meeting on this morning, they are keeping an eye on everyone, making sure that nobody's delirious from the heat. And if they see or feel that they are harming any other riders or can potentially harm themselves, they do reserve the right to black flag them and end their day.
And yeah, actually it was so hot here in 2009 that last year they were considering shortening the motos down to 20 or 25 minutes. The riders have to learn, I guess, to pace themselves. Don't ride over your head. Jeff, talk about when you go to the wall in the heat. What happens then? Yeah, you start to get, things get a little fuzzy. And you just cannot recover. And a rider that experienced that last year was the 19 here, this GEICO Honda, Eli Tomac. He had a fantastic first moto. He was the fastest guy on the track. And as the race and the day went on, the heat really seemed to get to him. Now, Eli is prepared this year. Seems to come in here with a game plan of what to do and to not push himself into the red zone. But right now, he's got all that he can handle by Dean Wilson, your Moto 1 winner. But I'd say so far that Eli has really done a good job of not putting himself into a bad zone here today. You know, last year, Tomac won his first pro race ever, which was our series opener in 2010. So he was known as the kid that got the fast. Whoa, what a line by Wilson, and he just launched past Tomac. That was unbelievable. I didn't even realize Tomac knows what happened. Yeah, I'm sure that's set up by that huge braking bump that's setting up, but that's really going to shake up the points and everything for the overall this year. Well, it's shaking up again. Rattray's just got Cunningham. Wow. Cunningham putting in a strong ride, but Rattray, he's going after. That's going to give him another 2 points. Now, there's still 15 minutes plus 2 laps, basically. Yeah. A lot of racing left here, and we can see that as the race goes on and the riders start to fatigue and things start to break down and mentally you start to fatigue, that's when you make the most mistakes. So Rattray on the move, though. Well, they are straining the engines, and we're smoking the calculators here trying to figure out who's going to win this race when we calculate the scores of both motos. Justin Barcia is leading it. He had a tough one in Moto 1 after a crash. He finished 9th in that race. So a 9-1, that's not going to get the job done. It could be Rattray, it could be Cunningham, it could be Wilson. This thing is far from over. Rockstar girls, they found a shade tree. They're smarter than you would think. If you Barcia carrying the flag here for GEICO Honda, leading the way. That team has been dealt a lot of injury woes this year, but Wil Hahn, injured or not, is here to help us out, give us a little guide to the team hauler.
Hey, it's Wil Hahn. We're out here at Freestone. This is a look at the GEICO Honda truck from a fan's perspective on the outside, but hey, I got nothing else better to do. I'm not racing this weekend, so let's go check out the inside of the truck. Here we are on the inside. We got Beeks and Mr. John Tomac here getting the helmets ready for the weekend and doing their deal. It's hot, it's hectic. It's nice in here, so it makes it easier to be inside while you're doing that kind of stuff. Also, we got bars, spare plastics and stuff here. They're all building them for the bikes to make them look real nice. And then over here we got our team headsets and everything, how we communicate on the weekend from the riders to the mechanics and everything like that. And also here's a spare engine in case we do have a malfunction, which it's not going to happen. But let's go check out the upstairs where most of us riders spend most of our time. Here we are, top of the Riders Lounge. This is Justin's area. This will be the newcomer Lance Vincent's area. He's filling in for obviously Jimmy and I since we're injured right now. And up here we got Eli's area. And then when I get back on my dirt bike, this will be my area, come around Redbud, Millville. And this has been the tour of the GEICO Semi, guys. I appreciate you guys coming, and see you soon.
Yeah, Wil actually did start riding this week, but right now the replacement was supposed to be Jimmy Dakotas. He was injured, so they picked up Lance Vincent to ride for the team now. Well, yeah, and go through the keys for him. Yeah, and that GEICO team's missing Blake Wharton also. So get a good start. Didn't quite get the start that he needed, but he definitely is earning his ride. Vincent now up inside of a top 10, which he should have had in Moto 1, but he fell over, dropped outside of the top 10, but a solid ride, and good job, man. All right, those are your Rocky Mountain ATV MC keys to the race. He got the start. He's earning the ride. There's no doubt about that. In the top 10 speed-wise in both motos. The result in Moto 1 won't show it. 10 minutes to go in this one. Vincent 10th, Swanepoel 9th, Davalos 8th, Eli Tickle 7-6, Tomac 5th, and we've already talked about the top 4, including this guy, your leader. Barcia leading Rattray, Cunningham, Wilson. And Barcia's lead is down to about 10 seconds right now. He's kind of holding it at that point, but you can see he's loosening up a little bit right now, and that's because this track, I mean, it is just treacherous right now. The heat's starting to set in, but let's take a look at the progressive whole shot replay and watch the 17 GEICO Honda once again. 2 whole shots here today, all by himself. See Kilbarger and a couple other guys not so fortunate. Well, we go back to the Supercross Tour, just finished a couple of weeks ago. Barcia now starts at every race there. He's gotten 3 good starts out of the 4 motos this year in motocross. He has got the starts dialed this year. He has, and right now in Moto 2, he's got the finish dialed. He's got 8 minutes plus a couple laps, and you see out of the back of his helmet there, he's got that long blonde hair, kind of a signature hairstyle. And I was joking around with him before practice today about cutting it off. And I said, hey, I'll do it right now. I got to grab some scissors. But he said, no can do. This is my style, and I'm going to run it, and I'm going to go beat these guys. Short hair, long hair, it doesn't matter. He said, I don't need to cut my hair. I'm tough as nails. And I ate some for lunch. That's what he said. All right, so we're getting down to the stretch run within 10 minutes and 2 laps of the finale of this moto. And it's still a mix-up for the overall. I did a little math now. Tyla Rattray, I believe at the moment, would win the overall by 1 point over Dean Wilson. So it could come down to Wilson, who's in 4th, trying to pass Kyle Cunningham, who is in 3rd. The gap is about 7 seconds between those two. So Wilson's going to need a mistake out of Cunningham and Rattray. He made a mistake himself earlier, so he knows it can happen. But Justin Barcia trying to cruise to a checkered flag in this moto. Justin Barcia leading the way here in Texas, and we have seen a lot of mechanical problems both in this 250 class and the 450 class that raced earlier today. But if you can get a bike that this guy is riding to the finish line, well, the team has done well because nobody rides a bike harder than Justin Barcia. Well, and Barcia's going to have to ride it hard right now. He just dropped some time. Rattray was 3 seconds faster that lap. That's going to close it to within about 7 seconds. Okay, so we've got a little over 5 minutes plus 2 laps, and Tyla Rattray is on the move right now. There is Cunningham. So Cunningham has lost the toe, as we would say in a different motorsport, back to 3rd. No longer has Rattray in sight. But Dean Wilson, he is closing on Cunningham. So what's going to change first? If Wilson passes Cunningham, we're pretty sure Wilson will steal the overall from Rattray. If Rattray passes Barcia, then he'll have the overall no matter what Wilson does. So 5 minutes, 2 laps, and a lot of drama left here in Texas. And how ironic is it that for the 2nd year in a row, we've got a couple of teammates, the same riders at the same track, battling it out for the overall. And I always felt that there were certain tracks I would go to where, I just kind of have my mojo working, and you have the good vibes, and you just feel good.
And this seems to be that track for the two Monster Energy Pro Circuit riders, Rattray and Dean Wilson.
But it is not working out for their teammate Blake Baggett, who won the race last week at Hangtown. He is now back to 17th after crashing while leading the first moto. So Baggett definitely not having luck today.
After qualifying fastest even. Baggett was the fastest rider earlier today.
All right, it looked like Wilson was going to win the overall here at this race a year ago, and then he gave it away in kind of embarrassing fashion. Dean, explain what happened.
I think that was a good race for me. I mean, I may not have won it. I got third overall, but it gave me the feeling inside that, you know, I can actually win these races. And you know, first moto I came from, I'd have to say about 15th off the start and ended up third. And then the second moto, I was in the lead and had a massive lead the whole way. And I mean, last lap I got passed. And the reason that happened was about 3 laps to go, I told myself, I said, this is my first win. I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to cruise. I'm going to win this thing. So I was cruising, taking it easy, maybe a little bit too much. And I seen Tyla coming last lap. So I sped up for about the last half lap because I wasn't quite sure what was going on. And then he was still charging, so I was like, oh, he must be a lap down and want to get more positions. And, you know, some people may say it was the heat, or which it probably had quite a big part of it. But I let Tyla by, and yeah, it was right before the big tabletop, before the finish line. And once I seen him do a fist pump, my heart just absolutely shattered. I mean, I thought I had to win, and then just to give it away like that, just, oh man, I was so emotional after that race. And but, you know, that was all part of learning, and I learned from it and bounced back at Budds Creek. So, you know, maybe it was a good thing for me just to tell myself that, you know, I can win this thing. One thing I know for sure is that I will never be backing down on the last lap, ever, for nobody. I don't care who it is, it won't be happening.
Well, that strategy could loom large here. He is not backing down. He is going after Kyle Cunningham. Cunningham in the blue 35 has been caught by Wilson.
Here we go. The charge is on. 2.5 minutes plus 2 laps. So probably looking at, what, about 4 laps here left, and there seems to be the move. No, Cunningham.
Wilson stuffed it in that berm, lost a little bit of momentum, Jeff. He's got to reset himself.
Well, they've got a lapped rider in there.
Oh, mistake by Cunningham. Wilson looks to take advantage. Who can charge into this corner harder? Still Cunningham holding on.
And there's a couple of sections where you really have to funnel in and follow the one line. But Wilson needs to be a little more patient than when he was trying to get past Barcia. But see him trying some alternate lines, trying to go around the outside. Oh, Cunningham gets the hops. He goes wide. Wilson cuts back to the inside.
And Wilson's got it, and that could change the overall as well. A 1-3 in motocross beats a 2-2. And right now, Wilson would be looking at a first and a third, whereas Tyla Rattray would be looking at 2 seconds. But Cunningham's trying to get Wilson back, and Rattray's trying to get Barcia for the lead. So we've got a lot of action to watch out here. The gap was only 2.2 seconds, by the way, between
Wilson.
Yeah, gap is close. It's close all around. Close to a crash for Wilson. Close between Rattray and Barcia in the lead. Look at this. Rattray is right behind him, Jeff. It is on here in the final laps of Texas. It's going to be a battle. Barcia's going to have to dig down deep. Stay with us. Battle is on for the moto win, and it will affect the overall for the day as well. Tyla Rattray in second, going after Justin Barcia. Rattray's come from a long way back to make this pass, and he's got the spot. And one of the strong men of this sport is proving why he has that reputation. Late in the race, it's hot, it's rough. Tyla Rattray just does not get tired.
He is so strong here, and as the moto's gone on, I've really paid attention to his technique, and what he's done is he's been on the pegs, and he's stood up in all the places that he needs to around those sweepers. He's been able to really keep his momentum and his flow going, and so late here in the moto, late in the day, which is sure to be one of the toughest races of the year, the South African, Tyla Rattray, just coming alive. Right now turning a 2:15. I'm sorry, a 2:12 to Barcia's 2:15.
So Dean Wilson had just taken third away from Kyle Cunningham. Temporarily, that would have put Wilson in position to win the overall. Now that Rattray has got around Barcia, he will now win the overall. 47 points on the day to Wilson's 45. Unbelievable drama late. And on this track, but for the guys to be charging this hard late in the moto, that's impressive.
Yeah, and they just lapped Jason Anderson. He was running 18th.
It's one of the rookies this year who really has not lived up to a lot of the expectations he had so far out of the amateur ranks. But again, he's a rookie, got a long career ahead of him. Meanwhile, this guy has put a lot of races, a lot of years in the books already. A champion in Europe a couple of years ago. It's the third season now in the U.S. He's got this game figured out.
Well, and before the season started, I mean, I know one of my thoughts is that it's kind of time for Rattray to make it happen. I mean, this is, he's been here for a while. He's been expected to win. Great ride here today.
Great ride by Broc Tickle, fighting back from some mechanical troubles in Moto 1. He has gotten by the 19 of Eli Tomac for 5th. Aaron, what have you got on Eli Tomac?
Well, guys, it's almost like deja vu with Blake Baggett of what happened last year in Eli Tomac. When Eli came out, he won his very first moto, and then when he came here to Wortham, he ended up getting heat exhaustion. Well, we're seeing the exact same thing from Blake Baggett. He came out swinging, won that first moto last weekend, won the overall, but he's sitting on the sidelines watching this all go down right now.
Wow, so Baggett, who came in here as the series points leader after winning that race last week, is going to lose a ton of points in the championship. Broc Tickle is going to have to come from behind in the series after not finishing the first moto today. As for Tomac, I was alluding to this earlier, looks like a much more conservative effort from him. Came out of the block so strong in 2010, 2011. He's riding good, but not spectacularly.
Well, it seems like he came in here with a game plan, and like I mentioned earlier about getting into the red zone and bonking, as they say. Yep. He's done a fine job here, and this is you know, such a long series. There's 24 main events essentially with 2 motos and a 12-race championship. I think they've done you know, a pretty good job to be conservative and get through this race and build for the future, right?
Yeah, well, you see Baggett already has failed to finish a moto, or that's about to happen when this one is over. So we go back to Martin Davalos, who is 7th. He is behind that battle. Yeah, Baggett's already not finished a moto. Tickle's already not finished a moto. So just getting those 4ths and 5ths early in the year could loom large. Remember, last year's champion of this class, Trey Kennard, started the year well off the podium and then put in a strong run through the second half of the year to win this title. Davalos, veteran of this class out of Ecuador, with a pretty good run today in the top 10. Behind him is Cole Seeley, Austin Howell in the top 10, 9th, Lance Vincent in 10th. But here is your leader, Tyla Rattray. Could run 60-minute motos for this guy.
Hey, he's used to it being Africa hot. Yeah. Okay, that's how he put it to us earlier, and I'm like, is that hotter than here? He says, Fro, it's Africa. What does that mean? You know, he says, come down there if you want to feel some real heat. So obviously, just a nice, cool afternoon here for Tyla Rattray, who can certainly handle the heat, and it looks like he's on his way to handling the competition, taking advantage of a couple of mistakes by his teammates and putting in a strong ride, and it could mean the overall victory here today.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if any of these riders know the math themselves. That's a lot to figure out while you're riding for Rattray and Wilson, Barcia, Baggett, and the rest, and all these contenders who are all mixed up in these motos.
Yeah, like you mentioned, our calculator overheated here because of the 450 moto earlier today here on speed, and just, boy, this has been a tough day all around, even inside the television booth.
Well, tough on the equipment, but on us, again, it's 65 degrees, and we're loving it. Just like Aaron Bates, I mean, having a great time out there. Rattray is only about a half a lap away from a victory. He actually won that moto last year when Wilson gave it up, but the overall win went to Christophe Pourcel, who was consistent in the 2 races. A lot of people probably didn't even realize that, but this time Rattray is going to get the full deal. The overall, this is how he built himself up to championships in Europe. He got stronger each season until eventually he seized the crown. That's the way he wants to do it here in the U.S. Tyla Rattray wins the 2nd moto here in Texas, and with that, he should go 2-1 to take the overall. Pretty big distance back to Barcia. There he is. Barcia had this thing for almost the entire way. You have to wonder, he lost a lot of training time with a wrist injury in Supercross. Maybe that's affecting his fitness in these long races. Here's Wilson. Hard run for 3rd.
Well, it's going to be a 3rd in this moto, but I do believe, yeah, you've seen it by the body language. His head goes back. Oh, did I just give away the overall? So 2 years in a row, heartbreaking finishes for Dean Wilson, but his teammate Tyla Rattray, he is on top. As you can see, he is your class winner, and you just cannot get the water and everything on you quick enough after a hot moto like that.
Yeah, and remember, we will have a weekend off next weekend, so a little bit more recovery time for these riders, but we did see some of these athletes at this race last year were never able to recover throughout the entire summer. If you burn yourself out too much, you pour all the water on yourself after the moto you want, it's just not going to feel right ever again. And this is one of those riders that did that last year. Eli Tomac kept it conservative this time. He'll be back to fight for more wins a little later in the year. He ends up 6th, Tickle 5th, Cunningham 4th, Wilson 3rd, Barcia 2nd. Tyla Rattray has won the moto and the overall, and we will be back to talk to Tyla Rattray when we come back here to Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross from Texas. Championship racing on speed in the 250 class. Welcome back. This race is done. We will show you exactly how it broke down with our Lucas Oil race recap.
And out to start, once again, it was Justin Barcia grabbing your hole shot, and it really took control of this until Dean Wilson tries to make the pass and goes down.
Wilson would become a factor later in this race, though he would not give up. Barcia had a big lead. Battle was on. Here is Wilson passing Kyle Cunningham for 3rd, and at that moment, it looked like Wilson would win the overall, but no. Tyla Rattray, with 2 laps to go, catches and passes Barcia. He will win the 2nd moto, and that's enough to win the overall. Tyla Rattray getting the job done late in Texas. Here are your top 10 results from this moto. Rattray, Barcia, Wilson. Good ride for Cunningham. He was in contention to win this race overall. What are you looking at here, Jeff?
Martin Davalos, Seeley, Howell, and Lance Vincent. First ride on the GEICO Hahn inside the top 10. It's pretty strong rides for that group also.
Let's send it down to Aaron with your winner.
Tyla Rattray celebrates his 3rd overall win of your career in motocross. Tyla, coming in today, you had mentioned how rough and tough it was going to be and the heat was going to be like Africa. You expected to be on top of this box today, is that safe to say?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's I feel my program's working at the moment, you know, and not just how it didn't work last year, but I feel like I've fine-tuned it now, and man, it's awesome to come away with the win. I came from far back and didn't want to get over my head, you know. I knew it was going to be a long moto, and managed to pass Barcia and then put down two sprint laps and managed to get a lead. So it was awesome. I just want to thank all the guys from Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Darts Unlimited, Ford, Vans, Vulcan, Traxxas, the Asterix crew. They do an amazing job. Just everyone, my mechanic Wayne, my mother, and my lovely wife and baby.
Congratulations on a job well done today.
Let's share the upcoming schedule here, brought to you by Toyota. Speed will have your 250 class coverage from Mount Morris, Pennsylvania after a 1-weekend break. So that'll be June 11th at 10 p.m. Eastern. Then we go to Budds Creek a week later at 11 p.m. Mile High Up at Lakewood, Colorado, outside of Denver, June 26th. And then the 4th of July, a weekend extravaganza from Redbud in Michigan. On Speed, that'll be 10 p.m. So all your 250 class races you'll be watching right here on Speed. Tyla Rattray did it the hard way, coming from behind, late in the race on a rough track, heat and humidity, shrugs it all off. He's a veteran, he's been through this before, and he's your winner. We'll be right back. Texas, round 2 of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship is complete. We'll show you the overall results on this Rockstar Energy Drink Freestone National. Tyla Rattray coming out on top via 2-1 scores. Dean Wilson just edged out with a 1st and 3rd. Kyle Cunningham on the podium overall in his home state with that top 3 finish. Barcia Tomac consistent. And let's send it down to the podium and Aaron, who has our runner-up.
It seems as though Dean Wilson and Justin Barcia found themselves together again on the track. It's like you two were magnets. But Dean, can you walk us through the incident and what happened?
Yeah, what happened, you know, I felt really good. I thought this was going to be a 1-1 today, and you know, I had a good line over the wall, and, you know, I was just too impatient. That was just my problem, you know. I just wasn't patient enough. I feel like I would have got by him, you know, at a certain time, you know, but just tried too hard, I guess, and, you know, I came on the inside. My front wheel landed in a hole, and then once it landed in a hole, I just sprung into him, and, you know, that was that, and I was on the ground, and I felt really delirious when I got up, but, you know, I just couldn't do it with it. Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Toyota Escondido, Thor, my mechanic, Paul, the Astros crew, they do such a great job. They pick us up when we're down. Big shout out to them and everybody else. Thank you.
take a look at point standings here in this series. It's all sorts of mixed up, especially with Blake Baggett not scoring many today where he won the race last week. So it might be a championship battle between Rattray and Wilson. Let's go back down to the podium with Aaron.
Kyle Cunningham making his way up to the podium. Kyle, you're looking a little bit delirious. How are you feeling at the moment?
I'm not feeling so good, but we survived today, and I dug deep and showed I had a lot of heart. So, you know, I'm pumped on the third, and really a step in the right direction. And I got to give it up to the DNA Shred Stake, Star Racing, Yamaha, Scott, Dunlop, Imfab, FMF, Enzo, Craig working with me this week did a great job, and Cosworth, if it wasn't for those guys, I wouldn't be up here.
Go get yourself rested. You've got a weekend off for your group, and what a performance by Justin Barcia today as well. A little misfortune for you. Take us through your day, Justin.
Yeah, it was a crazy day. The first moto I crashed, 39th and 9th, and second moto just charged as hard as I could. The bike was working really good. The whole GEICO Honda team did a great job today. I'm really pumped on that.
All right, we'll tell you the upcoming schedule if you want to watch more Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross on TV. Our next race, we'll have a weekend off, then we're back at High Point, Pennsylvania. Check it out Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific. That's our 250 class Moto 2 coverage on Speed, and of course that will have the highlights of Moto 1 as well. Moto 1s are on Fuel TV every weekend. So great racing here in Texas. I think that's just a preview for what we have in store every single weekend in this 250 class. It's always exciting. It's always crazy. You get a lot of young riders who go for it. Dean Wilson said he's a little impatient. He will not be the only one, Jeff, that's probably going to say that before the year's up.
Well, and that won't be the only fall that we see. I mean, this championship is wide open. You just have to keep plugging away and keep giving it your best each and every moto because there's just so much racing.
And the fans sticking around for the champagne celebration. Congratulations, really, to anyone who just survived the heat and the rough conditions here today, no matter how young or old they are. For Aaron Bates and Jeff Emig, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for joining us for the Rockstar Energy Drink Freestone National. And big congratulations out to our moto winners, Dean Wilson and Tyla Rattray. Rattray edging out Wilson for the overall. We could be set up for a championship battle between those two. Thanks for watching.
The following is